SK likes to play.
We'll see if that is going to be an issue. Obviously, SK way back in the last Unified Live. I just corrected myself to the wrong name there. SK were the team that the North American players were kind of nervous about, right? This is the squad that they were saying, look, this is the most aggressive European squad at the time. I feel like they still play that style. They still play that aggressive early game that we've seen.
Yeah.
It's going to be Baron and Grace banned away here. Vox is going to be the first pick.
Yeah, I was going to say Vox is probably most likely a pickup because Vox and Poison Shift is good into Lyra. Mousesports is going ahead and pick up this Idris here. We haven't seen a first pick Idris from them in a while. They're going ahead and ban away that Catherine, which means Lyra is open, and most likely SK will deny the Lyra, I feel. Or they may let them have it and because they have a composition that works well into it.
Yeah, I think the Idris pick is actually almost forced here by SK to force Mousesports onto it by banning away the Baron, taking the Vox. That's two of the most played heroes for Apfel, and so now basically says, okay, we have to take this Idris, otherwise we're going to be forced onto a pick that we're nowhere near as comfortable on.
Well, that's an interesting ban considering Idris is already
very
locked
interesting
in.
It's just a throwaway ban. Maybe it's because they want to keep all options open, and they're just going to use that second ban as a throwaway ban. Why not ban Flicker or something instead? But Ringo is a very interesting ban. Maybe there's a secret composition that Mousesports has. We're not sure, but
maybe that's like to do with knowledge from scrims or something about a CP Ringo that's maybe sneaking in. I don't know where.
Doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't understand. Like, I would have much rather seen the Batiste ban come out in that situation because Batiste was I feel like a very likely pick with the Idris already there. So
the Lyra Samuel or Lyra Scarf here is probably what SK is going to pick up. That's what they played really well previously. So I feel like all of the two junglers are going to pick here is most likely going to be Samuel Scarf, or if they want to play CP Blackfeather into a Batiste and an Idris here. So that
they could look for the Sky
probably those
too.
Three. Well, Sky is going to be limited by mobility because of the Batiste ordains and also the Fearsome Shade. If she gets locked into a Fearsome Shade into a wall, she's pretty much dead meat. Blackfeather, on the other hand, can escape, get out of there. They don't have any stuns, so Scarf would also be really good because if you get stacks and you ult, there's nothing that can stop the Scarf and cancel that ultimate. So they have a lot of options for themselves right now.
Batiste can stop it.
Oh, they go with Samuel.
Yeah, Samuel, I think is just kind of going back to that comfort pick for Tyrus. Tyrus has a phenomenal Samuel, so it makes a lot of sense for if they need a jungler without having really a clear counter pick or anything of the sort. Samuel just kind of seems to be their fallback.
I feel like Vox, Lyra, Samuel is like default composition in the current meta, right? It's like it's pretty good at all facets. It doesn't have any like huge gaping weaknesses in it. It's going to be a Kestrel to finish out the Mouse composition though, which this one very much not the default, but you do have the Batiste captain. It's not like any of these are rare
I'm the Doom on a Crystal Kestrel.
Very true.
That's something that has to be cannot be overstated, which again makes you wonder why the Ringo ban. Like, why not ban something that Mousesports plays and plays well, like a Kestrel, like a Batiste, something along those lines. I'm very curious about the decision for the Ringo ban.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. How are we feeling about the win conditions of these two squads then? Because obviously we've got this Lyra, Samuel, Vox composition that we've seen a lot of times at this point in the Vainglory 8. I want to talk more about Mouse's composition. What are their win conditions, Sweet J?
Well, their win conditions is to get, once Kestrel gets a Shatter Glass, etc., is force objectives, force lane, protect her and keep her safe because she won't build any defense. However, Lyra is really good against the CP Kestrel. She can poke, land one-shots, but Lyra's heal can just negate it. Basically, we saw that in the Gangstars game versus Tempo Storm. So I think if SK plays their comp properly, they're going to win this game.
All right, so they're going to have the sustain to just kind of survive through the Kestrel. What are your thoughts here, Bacon?
I think there's a bit of a concern for SK in the fact that they don't really have anything to hard shut down an Idris. There's the Bright Bulwark, which can stop him from jumping, but aside from that, the only other way to stop an Idris is an Oblivion. And as long as the Idris can dance around those two abilities, Idris, I think, can take this one over.
All right, a lot going to be on his shoulders. We'll see if he can bring it to pass, but it's time to jump into the first semi-final here of the European Vainglory 8. Let us know who you're supporting on Twitter using that hashtag Vainglory8. Let us know and tag your teams in that one as well. But it's time to pass it on to our casters as we head onto the Halcyon Fold for the first time today.
This is a very exciting matchup here, AJ, of course, myself and you. That is the best intro I could come up with today.
It's
AJ,
early. Wait, it's not for you. It's not early for you. That excuse doesn't work.
It could be early for me, depending on when I woke up. It is Mouse versus SK, and it is going to be pretty exciting nonetheless, because both these teams right up there on the top of this scoreboard, looking to try and get the 8 points of this week. Whoever finds it is going to be tying Fnatic for first place at the end of this week. If they're able to, then take the finals as well.
Yeah, this week is one with a lot of implications. Let's have a look at the game at hand, though. Already you can see Just Man starting to be a little bit aggressive. This is something I like seeing out of these Baptiste players. He is not quite Grace in terms of, ability to go in and be disruptive early, but he does have a lot of damage. He has some good sustain. So it's pretty hard to take him down if he goes for the aggressive play. I think overall, the aggression is pretty well suited out of both of these jungle pairings. I'm not sure either one has necessarily a big edge, because a lot of it is about skill shots. Like if Kestrel lands more than Tyrus, well then, okay, Mouse is probably going to win that fight. But similarly, if Tyrus is landing a lot of Malices, it's going to be pretty good for the side of SK, and Lyra has that sustain. So either way, it's hard to gauge. And that might end up with the teams both putting their captains in lane, because they just don't want to commit themselves to something so volatile in the jungle. But could also lead to some fairly explosive fights pretty early.
And I actually love the fact that we have I'm the Doom on his signature Kestrel and Tyra's on his signature Samir as well. So as far as these jungle matchups go, they are about as spicy as they can get, AJ. Everyone going to be playing heroes that they have made names for themselves so far in this Vainglory season and the previous seasons as well. We do see an active camo trap. Doom will stun up Tyra's, and that should be Tyra's going down here inside Oblivion. No, he's still alive. The damage is insane. Doom just about escapes, but can Justman take down Tyra's? There's the bad mojo, and it is going to be first blood. Raph trying to find one as well. He's trying to snipe them both. Raph will be rooted. No, he's able to escape. Now looking for Doom. Spots him out here. I think Raph won't be able to get the kill, but it's a 1-for-1 trade in the end.
What did I say about volatile jungle matchups? That was absolutely awesome. Both teams fighting a lot early on. Raph nearly made the hero plays there. I actually think if he'd gone for the sigil onto Justman and the attacks onto I'm the Doom, that would have been better, because Justman is lower, so the sigil had a better chance of just sniping him. But still, cool stuff out of him. I like that I'm the Doom is trying to go aggressive with the trap plays early on. Hasn't totally panned out. And actually, that was an interesting rotation there from I'm the Doom. He decided to stick around and farm on low energy. Had to back, because obviously Tyrus was forced back and therefore had more items after that. And as such, Mouse gave up the trance. So off the back of what was an even fight, SK took an advantage and Mouse took a deficit because of the decision to not back and try and get more gold in the moment from I'm the Doom.
I'll have to see how that one plays out in this early game. Clearly, these guys already going at each other's throats. The lane, a fairly even matchup for now. Apfel will be at a slight deficit, considering he's has a ranged opposition where his captain is melee. This Baptiste does some ranged damage with the bad mojos, but that's about it. And Raph and Kavalafar can really poke from range. Good stun with the Ordained. Raph's going to take a lot of damage here, but trying to heal it up as Apfel now under fire. Here comes the Malice and Verdicts. Tyra's, can he find the kill?
Whoa.
No, he gets taken down by I'm the Doom, who just stood his ground and like an artillery found the kills. Now looking to reposition and take down Kavalafar, but Raph very quickly with the sigil will get everyone out to safety.
Heard plenty of things about I'm the Doom's Kestrel. He's certainly putting in the work right now, finding all the glimmer shots, doing all the damage. I do think that Tyrus had a bit of a mental misstep there, trying to go for that kill when the mustache bush was not blocked by anything. So Kestrel glimmer shots were going to annihilate him at this point in the game. Kestrel already has 2 sort of mid-tier CP items, going to be doing a lot of damage. But it's not the end of the world for SK. Things are pretty even. It's about just shy of 1,000 gold lead for Mouse right now. That isn't too bad. And SK has been able to stop them from leveraging a lot of this into objectives because it's so early and they've been taking the trance. Does mitigate the problem a little bit.
Just a little bit. Doom going to match the aggression from Tyrus. He has that one shot. Tyrus with the Oblivion unlocked as well. Fountains are ready to go. Something to watch out for is Kvalifar is going to start eating some damage inside the Oblivion, but very happy to just stand his ground. Justman taking so much poke from Tyros here. Actually, Mouse, without a healer, going to have to struggle to defend this turret, you think. Unless they blow up Tyros or Kvalifar, then the sustained artillery from Tyros and the heals from Raph can really just stack up to be a problem for Mouse.
Yeah, Wrath having the ability to actually heal up his team is kind of the difference maker right now. You can see that I'm the Doom had to eventually back off because Tyrus was trading maybe slightly less than evenly, but it was being made up for by the fact that Wrath was healing him. So this is definitely something that as, you know, the first couple of items get picked up on SK, we'll notice being more and more of a problem for Mouse, because the sustain is going to be coming out more frequently as more levels are put into Imperial Sigil.
Ooh. Apfel's in so much trouble here. Fountain comes out. Good Oblivion there just to stop Kvalifar from aggressing. Apfel a little bit disrespectful, I think, of the damage that Kvalifar outputs with just a poison shiv. It allows for him to auto-attack very quickly, and it's really all Fox needs early to be outputting damage. He's going to be in a bit of trouble.
Oh boy.
There's an Oblivion. Oh, Kvalifar's just dead here. That is an easy kill. Does go over to Justman, a bit of an error. I guess you could argue that Mouse with 3 on the board.
That's a really cool combo that I hadn't thought of. You ordain a target, and then Kestrel puts down a trap inside of the ordain. It gives it time to prime, right? Because no one can leave the ordain without being stunned, and if you overlap slightly, you're probably going to hit it too. I like that a lot. I'm the Doom and Justman comboing very nicely. Kvalifar's now picked up a Poison Shiv though, so even with that death, he's not falling too far behind in itemization. He's still pretty strong. I think once we see skirmishes and team fights happening, the fact that Wrath can defend him pretty nicely should help a lot. Although Apfel has unlocked Divergent Paths, does have level 6. As Bacon was saying on the desk, it's pretty hard for SK to deal with an Idris and actually get him off of their carries.
Yeah, the Bright Bulwark can maybe prevent him from jumping in, but so difficult to actually predict that he's wanting to use that Shroud Step, especially considering it's instantaneous. Apfel going to get himself the Poison Shiv now, which is going to at least cut down some of the effectivity of Wrath in those full-out engages. Apfel otherwise won't be applying mortal wounds. It's going to be currently just a setup onto Wrath. I'm the Doom reveals, but wasn't quite in position to lay down too much damage. Here comes Tyros right on through it. Mouse are disengaging. Yeah, the Infused. Very scary.
Whoa.
And I'm the Doom may go down. No, he just about escapes. The Fountain keeps him alive. Has that one shot, but what can it do for his team at this point? Almost seems like nothing. He's trying to heal desperately here, AJ, so he can come and protect this turret.
That infusion, as far as I'm concerned, has already paid for itself. They're being so threatening to Mouse right now that unless they really mess up and lose a player, this is going to go very well for SK.
Yeah, Mouse really doing their best here. It's going to be a one-shot onto Kvalifar. That's a lot of damage onto him. Mouse aren't able to aggress. Look at Apfel's health bar. He just gets deleted. Justman just about dodging away these Malice and Verdicts. This turret's still alive for now, but I'm the Doom has to go back to base. SK may not siege this turret too much. Can be considered a bit of a risk, but pushing the wave in, yeah, they want it. And Justman may go down for it as well. No, just about escapes. Sitting behind this turret. Raph dives forward. Here comes I Am the Doom, but he can't stop them from securing it. That gold deficit is now in favor of SK.
That was tactically very brilliant from SK. The timing for them going for infusions was huge. They forced the issue immediately, so there's no chance for anyone to react and like pick up their own infusion, be comparable in strength. It really was very well played by SK. They found a turret and a kill off of that too, so they closed that gold gap a little bit. Very hard for Mouse to transition out of that into anything right off the bat. They were able to shove in the wave, but that's about it. So, you know, they're not really mitigating the damage dealt by SK at all. See there just how strong Kyrus is right now as well, and I think that's something we've got to highlight. I Am the Doom has a little bit lower of an effective range of threat, I would say, than the Samuel, and it's just all part of the parcel, right? Like if Mouse want to fight, they've really got to commit, whereas SK can kind of play on the edge a little bit more.
Mouse are looking to commit though. That's going to be Kvalifar take it on down, the one-shot connect, and Apfel able to finish the job. Tyros with his range gets the heal, has energy, but Malice and Verdict isn't as strong without that Drifting Dark, and the cooldown's pretty long. Mouse may look to try and siege up this turret, but they only have a single minion, so they can only do a little bit of damage before the shield starts to come back here. And I don't think they have the time. Kvalifar is going to be rushing down the lane. Refreshed his infusion, level 7. Poke from range. Chakram tears through, but Mouse are forced to leave because sticking around could just be their deaths.
SK might get a gold mine off of this recall from Mouse. It'd be a pretty heads-up play if they go for it, which they are doing. This would actually be punishing Mouse pretty hard for the play they made. Wow, okay, they're going to back off. Just Man by himself managed to put the fear into SK there. I'm kind of surprised by that. I think they probably had the gold mine if they wanted it, but taking the safer option. That fight was an example of what I was talking about, though. I mean, Mouse, if they just snappily go for it, make the engagement happen, it really does put the onus on SK to kite properly. And Kvalifar took way too much damage from I'm the Doom in that instance, letting Apfel execute him basically. So, as much sustain as Lyra has, Imperial Sigil has a cooldown, and you can only use it once if your opponents kill someone quickly enough.
Right now, it kind of feels that SK will win any sustained fight that they get into, but if Mouse are able to get that Batiste close enough to a target that the Ordained is effective, then they have a chance. They have to execute. They really only have one shot here, AJ, to do that. Otherwise, the poke damage that's coming out of Tyra's is just too much, and they can heal up any chip damage that that Doom is putting towards them. Very close game between these two giants here in Europe. Is going to be SK leaving the lane, heading back. A second Shatterglass finish, though, for I'm the Doom.
That's pretty big. I mean, he has got very squishy targets on the opponent's team that he can go for. Mouse, gotta be careful.
They are very caught, and that's just going to be Justman going down. Pops the Fountain, pops the Crucible, actually gets the Fear out as well, but Tyrus is able to get the kill. Used everything to try and keep himself alive and wasn't able to. SK is surely just going to be able to take away this gold miner.
We should probably talk about what to expect heading into the later stages of the game. I do think that Mouse, if they are even or slightly ahead, have a huge lead, because they're going to be able to dive onto the carries of SK and kill them probably before either Kite or Sustain comes through. I think Apfel is very difficult for SK to deal with, but if SK are able to position properly, they can mitigate a lot of that sort of in a vacuum strength that Mouse have, just because of the fact that they'll do so much damage before Mouse actually gets on top of them. It's really going to depend on if Tyrus, can finish up maybe an Eve of Harvest and stay alive through the initial brunt of damage he's taking. Kvalifar should be able to kite fairly well as well, especially with things like the portal just augmenting his natural ability to kite. The fights are going to be very mechanically focused. It's definitely a skill matchup. I think neither composition is massively favored in the late game.
Currently, SK easily just getting damaged there. I think this is the one reason if I was to have to make a prediction on who wins the game, it would be SK, just because their win condition's slightly more simple and slightly more forgiving with just the Lyra. But if they over-aggressive Apfel and Justman decide to engage like this, then they can just blow people up. Tyra's in a lot of trouble, is able to escape. The Crucible going to save their lives. Silence onto Justman and Doom. They're now trying to kite back. They didn't get the kills, but can they get away? Oblivion dodged. Apfel puts the pressure on, and SK will drop back. That is so close, surprisingly. Mouse threatening SK enough that SK didn't want any of it.
I'm actually a little bit surprised that I'm the Doom went for the one-shot, one-kill that he did. I think had he not done that, he would have been able to potentially just chase and kill one of the members of SK Gaming. But as a result, very close fight. I mean, neither team picking up a single kill. It's like I was saying before, I mean, as this game progresses, things are very even. It's all about the mechanical plays they are making. Apfel's just picked up an Atlas Pauldron. We should probably talk about that a little bit. Will be good against Kvalifar, but I do wonder if he needs to just pick up, or rather, I wonder if maybe just Metal Jacket would be better. Given the fact that there's so much damage coming out of Tyrus as well, I want to mitigate that as much as possible. And he's the one going to be hitting you when you're kiting and you're in the face of SK quite a lot of the time.
Going to be another siege breaking out, but great damage coming out of Doom. He's in trouble though. He gets aggressed onto. He is just dead. completely. Not enough to really protect him. Apfel, though, looking for more, looking for Raph, and he's going to find the kill, but can he escape alive? There's a reflex block. One more auto attack will do the trick. Oh, Justman blocking these Malice and Verdicts. Apfel just sitting on a silver HP will walk away from this. But SK going to look to try and get this turret in return. And Tyrus chucks out those Malice and Verdicts, the Drifting Dark, and look at Justman putting on a brave face. The Oblivion goes out as well. He's got the minion wave. He's got to survive. In fact, Apfel's charging in, but can't quite get the auto attack, which would have allowed him to reset his Shroud Step and get it off cooldown quicker. Oh my gosh. Can't believe Justman just, you know, face tanked that and walked away as well.
That was scary close, actually, towards the end there, but SK picking up a turret, managing to get out of there. They're doing a great job of just winning the war of attrition, punishing Mouse for not making the aggression that they need to make happen, whether that be by them taking too much poke before they go in, or going in at the wrong time, because they feel like they have to. I feel like SK is definitely the ones applying pressure to Mouse, and Mouse is not necessarily responding as they need to. But that's pretty hard to do when you're threatened so heavily. Raph does need to be careful. If he gets jumped on, there's so much damage on Apfel right now.
Yeah, certainly is. Apfel is looking to complete his last item here, likely the Tension Bow. Sometimes we see Idrises go for a Bone Saw, though, when they're up against targets that would like to build armor, such as the Vox, if you want to try and stick to him and apply the stacks. But Tension Bow seemingly would be the most likely of choices. Currently, Mouse kind of forced into this passive game where they're forced back towards their lane trying to set up with the Kestrel. And SK are going to look for the fight here. Justman leading the in towards the jungle, but SK having none of it. They've got a minion candy on this wave, and they've got the damage on Tyras to be able to just walk straight up to this turret and start chipping away at it, whilst the entirety of the Mouse roster has to pull back. This is such a huge rotation. A free choke point turret. Mouse were just completely caught. They've just picked up a Echo. Justman may look to try and make something happen, but I think SK are safe. Wow, what a great play by SK.
The Frostburn on Tyrus is doing so much work right now. He's able to get very free trades onto anyone who gets hit by any of his abilities even once. Now they're going for it.
Yeah, looking for the fight here. Can they get in range is the question. Double Fearsome Shade. Here's the second one coming out. Oh, that's a huge fear. And that's going to be Cavalify going down. The Oblivion's blocked up. Tyra's now in so much trouble, but he has the movement speed and the heals, and it's Apfel trying to escape. They're looking for Raph instead. Tyra's going to come through the portal. Raph will walk away with his life. They've taken down Apfel. Tyra's, they're all so low, and he's got the speed. He's charging into Doom and finds the kill. Only Justman standing, but he can't run forever. And the ace comes through. A triple for Tyras. What a monster he is.
Really is. Raph, too, though, I mean, unsung hero of that fight with a great portal and great jukes in the bush to make them stay near it, so when Tyras came through, he was able to follow up for the kill. That was just really strong stuff. I mean, Tyras, you gotta think about what would happen if I was playing this hero. Well, I'd miss a bunch of the skill shots, right? And that would look very different. He is so consistently able to land not just the Malice, but the Verdict too. It's really such a boon to SK that they picked this player up at the beginning of spring, because he has shown up again and again. Incredible player. Does get chunked out a little bit there. Gonna have to eat the heal from Raph in order to keep the push going, but this could be a back-breaking push here, Dowsey, coming out of SK Gaming. I don't know if Mouse has what it takes to defend. At the beginning of that last fight, another thing worth noting, by the way, the silence from Cavalifar not blocked. That was bad news for Apfel. Really stopped him from getting exactly where he wanted to. He was kind of forced to hit the front line, which I think is why Tyrus was able to stay alive for so long. Oh, the Flare spots out those active camos. They know there's a Kestrel somewhere nearby.
Yeah, and she's actually been called out here a little bit behind everyone. Cavalifar in a bit of trouble. Tyras very safe with the Malice and Verdict. The second fear goes out, but it doesn't quite find the kill. Now Tyras is left on his own. Oh, Justman will walk to his death, but Apfel's trying to clean up the fight. One kill for him. The heal didn't pop onto Tyras, means he's not going to get a huge burst. Apfel looking to charge over the wall, but won't be able to get in range of Tyra's. The first Vein Crystal turret is gone, mind you. They have to take down this Kraken, which is sitting just over half HP. That's the backport for Apfel. He is so low. Got a potion ticking to try and heal up. And oh, that's a huge stun from Doom. It's going to be Tyra's going very low. Oh, a double with one Glimmer shot. Impressive stuff. They're going to be able to take down this Kraken and save their base here, AJ.
That was nasty from the Doom. Showing why he's known for his Kestrel right there. Although I do think whenever you're playing against Kestrel, pushing into a obvious location like that, it's time to split up. If you're SK, I'm sure they won't make that mistake again. Still, really strong push by them. They've only got the Vein Crystal laid bare now. Only one turret taken by Mouse, so they have a lot of work to do before they really get in. This is a dicey situation. I'd honestly like to see Tyrus maybe just sell the Aegis for a Crucible. I think you want 2 on SK.
Perhaps, yeah. I think you... No. I think there's an argument for it. Oh, Kavalifar just walks away. Tyrus takes a one-shot. We can discuss it in a bit, AJ, because right now Mouse are making some aggressive moves. Not quite able to find the kill. Raph has healed them up to full. That's going to be a disengage with a Fearsome Shade. The Echo has been popped and the ultimate reactivated. Mouse, if they lose their lives, they lose just one member. This could be GG to them, but they're looking for the fight nonetheless. Justman so low, he's going to go down with Fountain and Crucible still active. Oh, Kavalifar walks into a trap, but look at the damage Tyrus is outputting. I'm the Doom, Apfel so low, and Apfel's going to lose his life here. Tyra's going to charge forward and look to try and finish the job. To answer your question, AJ, I think the Aegis is just so important for the shielding alone. Aegis... Crucible doesn't give it, and so you would be left very vulnerable to this Kestrel who's built the double Shadow Glass build. Right now, Doom, if he is able to save the base here, then he is a monster of a player. But it is going to be Tyra's with the heal. The one shot not connecting. Doom charging deep towards them, and Tyra's just happily putting out the damage. The block goes through. Tyra's going low, but the Fountain is there. He's trying to body block Doom. He's trying to do his best. The Oblivion, though, puts him to sleep. And that is Tyra's just styling on fools. Game 1 goes to SK.
Incredible stuff. Tyrus is such a monster on the Samuel. I do think Raph was definitely the unsung hero, like I said earlier, for the side of SK Gaming, though. Always setting him up for success. Kavalifar kind of struggled, but in a double carry comp, if one carry struggles, the other can pick up the slack, and Tyrus did just that. So in game number 2, definitely interested to see how the draft pans out. I don't think you want to give Lyra Samuel over to SK.
And we'll have to see how it does play out. Some